Welcome everybody to game number 1 between MouseSports and the FlashWolves. As you can see here, we have all the way to the top left Heromarine as the starting player for MouseSports in this last match of the regular season. And starting to the bottom left, we currently have his opponent. This is Slam. And well, this match is going to determine which team goes to the playoffs. It's the last match of the regular season for both teams. It's actually the last match for all the teams. Everybody else already completed their 11 matches. So whoever is going to win this particular game is going to go to the playoffs. And it's going to be a very, very interesting battle. At this point, we have for MouseSports Vortex still playing, and this is quite the important information because there was a lot of confusion since Vortex and MouseSports announced just 1 or 2 days ago that the Zerg player from Spain is going to leave the German team. And well, in this particular game, he is still gonna play for them. So this is the last time that the Vortex is making an appearance for MouseSports. And if MouseSports qualifies for the playoffs, that would of course also make sure that they would have to make sure that they would get another player to play in the playoffs, since they would be reduced to a 3-player lineup, and you need 4 players to participate in the Acer Team Story Cup. For the FlashWolves, that problem does not really occur. They do have enough players to field in case that they make it into the playoffs. We had a bit of confusion earlier when we were starting with the match, since MouseSports was not ready with their players, and the admins were trying, well, not trying, but were like announcing that MouseSports would start with a def loss against the FlashWolves. But then it turned out that it was just a misunderstanding. MouseSports was indeed waiting with their players, but in a different channel, so a bit of miscommunication that was easily resolved after I contacted Ops then on Skype, who was also a bit confused by nobody was replying to him. So we start this with the 0-0 with our first game here on Aldazim Stronghold, and can now find out which team will take it, which team will be able to go straight into the playoffs here at the Acer Team Story Cup Season 3. We have gas taken now for Slam, starting here all the way to the bottom left, also with this expansion, and starting in the spawning pool here as well. Not taking his pocket expansion just yet. He takes the expansion outside of his main base, and that will now allow him to, of course, spread the creep a little bit faster here. The space is exposed, so if you build it as the second base, sometimes it will really happen that your opponent can just pressure it with early aggression. That's not the case in here. We have Slam taking this right away, and of course for Heromarine also scouting information, with one Reaper making its way now to the bottom left. And that's great for Heromarine, getting the scouting information against the starting position of his opponent immediately, jumping now into the main base. The Overlord is also making his way to the top left to find out what the Terran player is doing. But let's see if Heromarine can't even get, well, he might be able to get one of those probes, one of those drones, of course. Gets at least one, might get 2. That's the whoa! Actually saved, and he gets one in the end, but he might be able to get a bit more than that. The Zerglings are now moving in, but does Heromarine get another one? Doesn't really look like it. The Extractor, of course, cancelled, but so far Slam with a nice defense here. Now that the Queen is part of the game, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to make it work, but we also have double Reaper now, and this also means that we won't see any big saturation on that natural anytime soon. Well, with the double Queen now out and the Zerglings starting to make their way over, he can finally send drones over there, but up to now that was a bit too tricky for him to really pull off. We do see for Heromarine an expansion as well, of course, the expansion on the low ground already, building it here at that pocket expansion, not getting a third CC just yet. A third Reaper, on the other hand, is joining the early 2. There's the third base now that we were waiting for, built right under the nose of the Overlord. Do Overlords even have noses? I don't know. But it's being built in plain sight, so the Overlord knows exactly what's happening. Slam with an information that he needs, kills even a Reaper here with the defense. And now the double Queen making sure that those 2 Reapers don't get too cheeky. So yeah, they can't really pull anything off here. They can take a few hit points off the Queens though. That's the one thing that they can pull off. But with Slam now about to finish his speed upgrade for the Zerglings, the Reapers have to be careful or they will be eliminated by Slam. The starting player here for the team. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Slam is starting things off here. He must do really well in practice, because usually what we see for the FlashWolves is not only Sun and Lenok, but we see then Has and also Ian. And well, one of those 2 players will not make it today, apparently. Another Reaper also taken out, so all 3 of them now gone. And in the main base for Heromarine, we see at the barracks the tech lab being built. And we have him with only, well, we will see him with only a few Hellions there. He can't really use the Reapers any longer as his defense in overall supply. We have, of course, already a pretty decent position here for Slam, who's now suddenly at 56 against 43. And well, the Hellions are trying to make sure that there's not too much going on in terms of Zergling aggression, whereas the third base is being taken by Slam all the way to the bottom left now, as is Pocket Expansion taking this immediately. In the main base, we have one of the Hellions, actually, and he's just going to double-check if there is indeed another base, and that's the case. So the Hellions still trying to escape, might be able to get away, at least for now, but not for too long, especially not if he is moving on to creep. And that's indeed what he did, so yeah. If you go up against speedlings on creep, then, well, you better be really, really fast, because you will be outrun without any problems whatsoever, and that's exactly what happened there. Double engineering bay for him. And we have now all the way to the bottom left, the hatch started. Okay, going to go straight into the layer tech. Well, not the hatch started, the hatch tech into layer started, I should have said, sorry. +1/+1 upgrades for Slam, and Heromarine is about to start his own upgrades. The double engineering bay is completed, and there it is on the board with the stim halfway completed. The Hellions trying to do some damage here, at least taking down the creep tumors. But yeah, only able to kill one of those. The rest of the Hellions are starting to move in, and so far actually Slam is playing a pretty decent game here. If you look at the resources lost and also at the units lost, that's definitely in his favor. Just a few Zerglings that bit the dust earlier, and the Queens with a really decent defense for now. We're building another one. He's already at 4. He will put the Queen count up to 5 for now. Harvester count is 57 against 44. A third base for Heromarine is being built, and well, Slam was able to just scout everything that is going on so far. He had a very good look at that natural. He had a very good view onto the third base when it was built on the high ground. Now he sees to move onto the low ground, so he can prepare his own tech and also, of course, his next move. He's going into a very, very normal composition for a Zerg versus Terran. We are going to see a Limiter Baneling for him, whereas Heromarine is just now starting to get the Marines out there. He's going straight into the starport to have the double medivac initially and then start his drop play, with the fourth base now already built for Slam, who kind of realizes that he can basically do whatever he wants for now, because Heromarine is not aggressive at all. It's just instead trying to play it, I don't want to say greedy, but trying to play more oriented towards his tech to get his harvesters out, to make sure that he has the triple SCV production go into his upgrades and just really rush those out. Upgrades are going to play a very important role in this game for Heromarine. If he gets that lead with a 3-3 that Terran players can access a bit easier than Zerg, then he should be able to at least have a bit of a timing window here, cut that out for himself, where he can then do the damage. But Slam is now starting to spread his creep very aggressively towards the top left, as you can see at the bottom left. He has that surplus in queens that we usually talk about in this matchup, with 5 queens in total, only 3 needed for the injects. The other 2 can completely focus on the creep spread now, and Heromarine has to worry about that at some point, because creep spread is going to enable Slam to really catch him unaware, get those Banelings a bit of a speed buff, so that when the Marines finally start to move out, they are very... yeah, they're in a lot of danger, and that's why Heromarine moves out now, is probably going to start scanning there very soon to force the creep back. Zerglings trying to make their way over to the top left. The fourth base is completed now and can be saturated for Slam. Heromarine with a +2/+2 starter, the same for Slam, just a little bit faster than his Terran opponent, and Stim upgrade is now completed, as well as the combat shield, which is completed in a second. Or will be. So, Overseer is in decent positions, scouting. We have one Hellion finding out that there is indeed a fourth base already. And, well, Heromarine could of course also use those Hellions now in Hellbat mode. He has that armory, and is still using the Hellions here. Here we go. Going for the transformation, so now it's all about the Hellbats, and here comes Slam, trying to take his opponent down. The Banelings are the most important part here, being kited away immediately, but the Zerg player has a lot of ground forces, surrounding the bio units of Heromarine and taking him out. Slam dropping in overall supply though. Regarding the resources lost, the Terran player definitely getting the better end of this battle. The Banelings, of course, not getting the most cost-efficient hit off here, as you might have seen. We have now Mutalisks started as well, a few already in the main base that might hit Heromarine unaware. So far he only has 1 missile turret here at the natural and none at that third base, so he's not really getting them just yet, but we have him with Widow Mines, and that enables him to push, of course, also, and also defend his bases depending on where exactly he positions them. For now we have just him walking against onto creep, trying to take those creep tumors down, and well, the Marines not really getting this active one. It was just able to place it down before the vision range was there for Heromarine. So we currently have the rest of the units moving down, another scan hitting home, and well, before he can move in, we have the Marines just barely getting away there. Barely getting away. The rest of the Zerg forces making their way in, and thanks to the medivacs they can escape, but he drops them right into the path of danger. The rest of the reinforcements with another stim trying to cut those down. The 2-2 nearly completed for Slam. Not just yet. He's still fighting on even footing with his opponent. The 4th base is still saturated there, all the way to the bottom. We have double Spinecrawler now, double Extractor as well already taken, and the Muralist about to start their attack. They could focus down a missile turret if not for the immediate repair of the SCVs. And as you can see, we have the Marines moving in, forcing back all of those units once more, and the Zerg player now taking down the first gas. Could even take down those 2 supply depots, but we have him now starting to move over towards that 3rd base, and yes, kills at least 1 harvester, can kill a bit more than that. Marines moving in, there are only 3 of them, he could take them on easy peasy. Doesn't realize apparently that the Marine numbers are not strong enough to really threaten those Muralists, and moves back again, but that would have of course been a really nice opportunity for Slam to do a bit more damage. The Muralists already with a +1 attack upgrade, whereas we see +2 being researched. In regards to the upgrades, as mentioned before, the 3-3 now going to be important, but a nice contaminate here against the 1st engineering bay. Really good move by the Overseer. That's of course something that Slam can do to delay those upgrades a bit and give him enough time to catch up, but he doesn't have the infestation pit yet, so no hive tech for the Zerg player. The Queen out of position here, trying to place down a few additional creep tumors, but the Marines are there taking it out. A drop towards their 4th base is welcomed by the double Spinecrawler, and Zerglings rushing in for the defense. Heromarine at 187 overall supply though, and the army supply is in his favor. Very decent worker supply for him as well. He only has 3 bases against 4, but he's making it work. Could take another base, and he's already building it, flying it over towards that 4th base, trying to just get those units into position to defend it initially before he has his planetary up, and then of course also the additional missile turrets that he wants to get there. The 3-3, that's when Heromarine really wants to be aggressive, but we have Slam heading over with another set of Zerglings, trying to take his opponent on here, and well, the Zerglings have already been spotted, so he needs to be careful there. The rest of the army is already running away from the bioforce of the Terran player, now rushing in with the first few Banelings, getting their detonates off against Marauders. Never an ideal situation, and Heromarine is moving against Slam. Slam trying to just solidify his position here and taking out a potential 4th of his opponent, which is not going to be easy for him at all. That military is being built and the Zerglings are being forced back. The infestation pit has now started for Slam, so he wants to go into hive. He wants to get not only the Ultralisk but also 3-3, wants to get Adrenal Glands. Nice split by Heromarine immediately when he sees the Zerg forces approach here. And this is looking pretty decent for him. Banelings being morphed, 37 of them. He wants to YOLO them straight into the command center here, apparently. Well, the planetary, that is. And he will be able to do quite some damage. At the same time, Heromarine is now starting to make his move against the Zerg player. Moving on to creep once again. The Banelings are already moved in. But we have Widow Mines. Widow Mines with the first hit. Widow Mines with the second hit. And the third is the repair. No, Mutalists are moving in as well. And the Banelings take it out. Not really the best trade for Slam here, but he seems to deem it worth it, as he just says like, alright, I want to make sure that you don't have a 4th, but resources lost, that's definitely in favor of Heromarine for now. There was a lot of Banelings that he sacrificed there. Heromarine is moving forward to take down this base, already claiming the Spinecrawler and going straight for that hatch, and it looks pretty good for the Terran player. He will take down this hatchery, no question about that. The 4th base gone. The rest of the Zerg army is moving in now against the main body of Heromarines army and pushing the Terran player back. The splits are decent, but there are not a lot of Marines left. Slam down to 150 supply. Heromarine at 150 himself is now starting to make his move once more. Another good Widow Mine hit there, but taken out. And here comes the rest of the Marines trying to move into the mineral line, and he could actually, with a good stutter step, just make it way forward. All of those Marines are down to the red, but they might be able to get a few more kills. Banelings moving in, doing the damage, and the reinforcements of the Terran player moving back for now. Resources lost 17,000 against 13,000. Job well done by Heromarine so far. Slam is struggling a bit. He has another base set up to the left side. That's his 4th for now, but still, he is now going into the hive tech, whereas Heromarine has the 3-3 completed, and he also has another 4th base. So the upgrade league for the Terran player, Team MouseSports, in a decent position here. Heromarine is starting to push, and that is his time to shine. That's his timing window. That's what we were talking about earlier. He needs to pressure now, and he does it. He has the Marines, he has the Marauders, 2 Hellbats as well, and the Medivacs, 8 of them supporting this army as Heromarine makes his move, moves in, starts to take down creep tumors, forces back his opponent, starts with the splits here against the Banelings, and we don't have too many of those for Slam just yet. He only has 15, 16, going up to 20 now, trying to make that work, but the pre-splits are very good
good for Heromarine. We have Widow Mines everywhere starting to go for the hits here. Decent Meridian split and also a circling split to make sure that those Widow Mines don't get the perfect shots off. But the Banelings are now gone. How about the Marines though? Only 22 of those left and they are not with the army just yet. The Medivacs are trying to escape here. The Marine reinforcements have to move in right now or those won't survive. And that's exactly what happens here. We have additional Widow Mines saving the day for now for those Medivacs. And now we have the Zerg player once more starting to move back. We're trying to get a ground army. He needs a ground army for those Mutalisks. He needs something to shield them, to babysit them a little bit against the Marines. The planetary is already being built here at the 4th base of Heromarine. That run-by should not be able to do too much, trying to aim of course for the reinforcements, as Slam is now complete with his hive tech, does not start Adrenal Glands, does not start +3/+3. He just simply doesn't have the minerals. And here come the Mutalisks, one of those taken out, 2 of them immediately destroyed, and Heromarine with 177 supply is starting to pressure his opponent. Slam at 91 army supply against 113, the 3-3 done for Heromarine, and really working well for him. Nice splits here by the Terran player. Slam is struggling a little bit, going in from the bottom, from the left, trying to flank his opponent, getting those Banelings in position, but they are taken out right away. He still forces back the Terran player for now, but here come the Marines, and the stim is good. He takes down the Mutalisks already. Most of the Zerglings are gone, the rest of the Banelings moving in, but now it's simply Marines versus Mutalisks, and that's a battle that Slam just simply cannot win. Adrenal Glands has started, and Heromarine is going for that 3rd. He's pressuring his opponent even more. The reinforcements for Slam trying to move in, but we already have Terran units streaming across the map. Widow Mines everywhere. That 4th base economy for the Terran is really giving him an edge here. 150 supply against 107. Mutalisk count is at this point down to 3, and Slam, he is just barely trying to, well, he's barely able to survive for now. He's trying to do what he can, but this is too much. The momentum of the Terran player takes down Slam. The 1-0 for Team MouseSports in this last Acer Team Story Cup match of the season.